Hi, everyone. I want to introduce Orchid to you. Orchid arrived at my house one morning. She was coming to San Francisco for the game developers conference, and she was arriving with a gaming company. She came way early, and she said, with two huge suitcases full of costumes. And she was arriving, I think it was a 30-hour flight or something. She came way early, and I made her a cup of tea. And here she is now dialing in from Kiev to talk about getting known to get stuff done, right? It's a kind of fame. And why don't you say hi, Orchid?
Hi, good morning or evening, whatever it is for you. It's kind of late evening for me.
Exactly. You're in Kiev right now, right?
Yeah, I'm visiting my parents now.
Yeah, and it's baking hot. And I'm actually in my cabin in Nevada City, about 2.5 hours east of San Francisco.
You're lucky. Is it hot there?
It's actually raining today, but usually it's hot, but I've heard it's baking hot there, right? Your makeup's going to start melting in a moment, correct?
Yeah, we had rain, but as soon as I put makeup on, it starting to being scorching hot.
Right.
My luck.
So tell me, I mean, you have some interesting ideas about social media and becoming famous or becoming known, right, to be more effective in your work. Tell the audience like what you do and why you think, and you're also sort of a fetish model, or that you have a not fetish, but you crazy goth model with like tons of interesting imagery on your Instagram page. So
So I do
tell us.
social media management as a job for Hashbang Games, the company that I write with,
Mhm.
and hopefully soon for some other companies because they like what I do. I never had social media fame or social media image as a goal. It just happened so. I remember that day I was bored at my very first work on television. It was a women's channel, 2009 or something like that. I don't really remember for sure. So I was bored and I made a Facebook page for my modeling stuff because it was too shocking for people on my personal one. I have family. That's that. I don't have any pictures that my grandma would not like. But I have family who was not okay with some gory stuff, even though I don't do even half of what other people do. It started from that page, and I started getting some following, and I noticed that since I don't have anything revealing or anything, those people are basically interesting to talk to. There were a few creeps, but they got blocked out pretty fast. Or I had an army of defenders from Mexico. Whenever someone was not being nice, my Mexican friends went there and they made hell. It started from that, and then Instagram. It's just a photo sharing thing, and I like taking pictures of my cat.
Yeah, I remember talking about that. You were talking about cat butts when you arrived in San Francisco, and then I showed you those stickers of cat butts, which was an odd coincidence.
A cat is all about the snoot and the butthole.
Yeah, well, some people might not agree with you about that. So are you going to share this video with your friends in Mexico?
For sure, not just there. But later, this personal Instagram started as a personal thing, and I still keep it as a personal one. I don't even transfer to the business thing, and though I was considering that, but then I'm like, oh, it will lose this personal idea of it will lose the appeal of the personal Instagram, which it is. If
Mhm.
someone new comes there and sees, I don't know, like video game character or game developer or whatever, they will think that I'm some kind of special snowflake and they will have a hard time connecting with me. I don't want that. I want to connect with new people. And since sometimes I have to be here where I'm now, and I want to stay in touch with my friends from other countries, Instagram comes really handy. And I could post work stuff there, and I have almost a guarantee that it'll get noticed.
So you were recently in Singapore too, so you travel quite a bit, right?
Yeah,
Have you ever been to Japan? Because I almost think that the cosplay community would be super interested in you.
I would love to, but not yet.
Yeah, well, maybe someone from Japan will see this. I have some Japanese friends I'll share this with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I started from Japanese street fashion, and that was one of the things that I got known for.
Interesting, interesting. So what was interesting about Japanese street fashion?
I would say it was at that time it was a cute version of goth, as opposed to the then trending like fetish and all those sexy things that I'm not into.
Mhm.
The gothic Lolita style was like doll version of goth, and It was later when I discovered that the community is catty and they have a little bit of a crush on their own rules. If someone doesn't follow the rules, they're fucked.
Well, that applies to a lot in the world these days, don't you think?
Yeah, but those girls are maybe it's their world, but not mine anymore. I don't see the point in like half of the rules. They have a background, but they don't. We don't follow them all the time. And I got some hate because of this. I had a person find my super old blog post like a few months ago and pull it apart and like rip me into shreds.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, back to this original question. So you get things done because of fame or because of being known. Tell me, what are the mechanics of that in your mind?
So it's hard to explain when it comes to explanation, but it's easier to do. So the thing is that I somehow got known in the developer community. I guess it was at first it started from the looks and from the outfits that I picked for Game Dev conference. At that time, when I started in this industry, I was working on television in TV news, where I couldn't really look the way I wanted. So whenever I went to the game developers event, I put all the effort and all my craziest ideas that I had sketched somewhere. I put them in my outfits. Then people started knowing me for the outfits. This is how I initially connected with them. After that, I got some. I was interested in their games, so they started talking to me. Later, I got into coding and tried developing my own games. And I still look the way I do. And I experiment a lot with the looks and with the conference looks. I plan it more or less for every event I go to.
Mm-hmm.
So it started paying off. The one that looks like a freak and the one who codes. I started using that image online because that's probably what I would be if I was born elsewhere. The personality that I created online. So I kind of can't be who I wanted to be, but can't be because of where I currently am.
Because
Eastern Europe is conservative.
Oh, well, the entire world is conservative in some way. I mean,
Not that much.
yeah, but you would stand out if you walked down the street dressed as you are. You'd stand out anywhere in the world.
Not in Seattle.
Not in Seattle. Well, hey, shout out to Seattle then. KEXP, go rock and roll. All right. So Seattle's your dream city, the Emerald City.
It is.
Maybe one day you'll meet the Wizard of Oz there.
Oh, well, yeah. Our team is based there, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
So this social media thing, I never thought it would ever help me in my job. I was just keeping it to stay connected to friends. And Instagram is I like sharing pictures. I used to be a little bit into photography, but never professionally. But editing pictures was tiresome. And now when I have several jobs, when I'm studying and traveling, I still want to share pictures. And I have no time to sit in Photoshop and play around with them. So I just snap something with my phone. Again, I don't have to wear a camera with me. Well, the GoPro is the maximum. And I snap a picture and I post it on Instagram. Or if there is something funny and I can't decide with who of the friends will appreciate it, so I share it with everyone.
There you go. Well, that's, it's got to work. So
yeah.
What are the next steps? What are you going to try next, Orchid? I mean, what's the next thing you're going to do?
Since I'm not trying to master Unity and C# programming language, so the engine and programming language that they go along, I'll probably post some screenshots, maybe screenshots when I have a prototype, even though it might be a crappy prototype. I might post screenshots of that, or maybe I'll be brave enough to post my sketches of the game. They are so ugly. I don't have an artist at this point.
But that's a beginning. I mean, just so what often blocks people from getting stuff done is taking the first step. Writing the first page or doing the first sketch or asking someone for help or putting up a website or doing a prototype. I interviewed a guy yesterday whose name is Bobby, and he created a product called the Squatty Potty that helps people poo. And he made it the first ones out of wood and sent them off to that's going to be on my podcast probably next week. And so he sent them off to journalists, and it was quite expensive. He sent it off to like 35 journalists or something. But eventually he got on television because of it. He ended up on the Howard Stern show. I don't know. Do you know who Howard Stern is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Howard Stern has 25 million followers. So one thing led to the next, but it's like doing that first thing. And then he eventually had to invest $35,000 in sort of the initial marketing, which at the time seemed like a ton of money, but he took the risk and boom, it blew up. And then he made these famous unicorn ads.
The unicorn ad, I remember that one.
So you in Kiev, you've seen those unicorn ads done by Squatty Potty.
Yeah, I have, because honestly, I'm in touch with my US friends like 80% of the time. 80% of my time I speak English. Basically, I speak Ukrainian just to my family and like 2 friends maybe, but that's it. So I grew up with Western influences. That's probably why I don't feel any mental connection to here.
Wow, interesting. Oh, I think this is pretty common. I was flying back from Colombia and I met 2 Panamanian kids, probably about your age, on the airplane. They're just like you. They're just like my kids. They're just like everybody else. It's like the whole world is connected through I hope they see this. You never know.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Oh, the next step you mentioned that it's still so initial that I didn't even think of mentioning that. I recently started streaming video games on Twitch.
Oh, good. Okay. So when I post this video, put in your comments a link to the Twitch streaming that you do, or anything else you want. Okay. This is the first YouTube recording I'm doing. So thank you so much. All right, Orchid. So I'll say goodbye for now, and let's see what happens.
Sure.
Okay. See you again one day.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.